Hey guys, welcome back to part 4 of everything you need to know about FEFO. This video is solely devoted to academics. So let's go over the principal stuff you need to know about the academic life in FEFO. On to the video.
Hello people, this is me Harita, a 5th year medical student in FEFO.
And I am Jay Krishna, and I am currently studying in 4th year of School of Medicine in FEFO, Vladivostok.
Now I'm here to start talking about the exams. So how does the exams be in Russia? Like people ask questions like how does it differ from India and stuff like that. So here I'm going to talk about how the exams are going to be conducted in Russia. So basically we have two different types of exams, and the exam process obviously starts from the day one of our classes. That is, we have two types of exams, as I told you earlier. It is credit exams and your main exams. How does the credit exam go on? Like you just require 50% of your marks for your credit exams to get a pass. Basically that is just a pass or fail exam. What actually requires is your good attendance and your class tests, your class performances, the questions that teachers give you and how you answer to that, and your liveliness in the class and how good you are in the class. So basically it depends all your knowledge on the topic, everything depends on that, and you will be given a credit for that exam. And you will not have to be afraid about the credit exams if you really have a good performance in the class, because teachers can even give you an automatic credit for your performance in your classes. And the most important thing about the main exams is that it will be kind of a difficult one, because you have to go through the lectures and stuff continuously for a long time, because those exams are kind of pretty hard. But if you give your continuous hard work and you do your lessons well and your homeworks often, then I guess that will also not be a much bigger deal, because we'll also have lectures, for every subject that we are having in our semester. For instance, if we have anatomy as a subject, and we'll also have anatomy lectures as a main and common lecture in a big hall. So the thing is that the lectures would be of a new topic, but the same topics would be discussed in our practical sessions. So in that session we will have to have a much more we will have to discuss more about the topic. We will be given more works about the topic. We will have to discuss a lot about the topic in the practical classes. So our exams and will be mostly dependent on our practical classes, of course. And yes, all these exams are will be recorded in our Zachotnaya Knishka, or you also call it as electronic gradebooks. So those things will be always there in your mobile phones. You can always take it and look at it. Main exams, how does that go through, and how does that differ from Indian exams? So how does that go through is that mostly would have Viva for sure, because here teachers expect us to know the main concept of everything and not just mugging up the stuff and just vomiting things. That is not required here, because the teachers are of more practical stuff, so they would always expect us to know the major concepts in our mind. So how does it go, the exams? So you'll have to go to the exam hall, and then you'll be given a sheet where you'll have 3 questions, and teachers can ask you the 3 questions. You will be given a preparation time for about say 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and then you would be asked by the teachers about the questions that we have. So the questions the teachers ask completely depends on them and their moods, of course, because you might even be asked different questions than those 3 questions. You can even be asked the whole body in case of an anatomy exam. So it all depends on the teachers and also about the topics of the questions that we have on our list. So this is how it goes. And yes, why am I even telling that the main exams are really important? Because students in Devfu, they really wish to get a good dormitory and a good location, because it's really hard to travel from dormitories to the M building, which is away from the dormitories, of course. So we just have to travel through bus and get into the main building where we study. So the thing is, in case if a person fails in a subject, or if his rating has been low, he would be given dormitories in small Ajax, because there it doesn't mean that the students are really, it's really sad that the students have given dormitories there. No, it's not like that. It's just some differences that we have from the main dormitories in the main island. The thing is that it is really far away from the M building, and also a little bit less comfy, kind of, yeah, less comfy than the dormitories that we live in. Otherwise it's also the same good, but you can also, if you don't like the dormitories that the people are giving to you, you can even apply for a relocation that is also available for us in the campus. But the thing is that it will just start from the October month, so you'll just have to fill an application for it and then just give your required dormitories that you want to stay in, and then yeah, you will be given your dormitories. So not a big deal, but still, yeah, the thing is, like, sometimes if you really have a low rating, say if you have just for 5, if you just have 3.8 or something, you would really be given the dormitories in small Ajax. And even if you apply for a relocation, that will not that will not be a matter for them, because you still have only 3.8. And also a matter of thing is that even if you have like about 4.4 or 4.5 and you failed a subject, you would again be given a dormitory in the small Ajax. So these marks are also for the dormitories. So just be sure that you learn your subjects so well that teachers just give you an automatic credit and you will not have a much bigger problem in your marks. Yes, and also we have 3 different ways of conducting exams. That is, for instance, if it is a credit exam, we just have 3 types of exams, as in, like, we'll have online, offline computer tests, or it can be small vivas if we have it in the class, or it can even be small short class tests. So this would be the main things about the credit exams. And in the main exams, how does that occur is that sometimes teachers might even ask you to have a go get onto the cadavers and just show us this respective nerves and this respective muscles in case if it is an anatomy exam. So it can be like that. And then, as I told you before, like, we will have a sheet where we'll be given 3 questions and we'll have to have a viva on those questions. So this is how the main exams is going to be. And how does the exams actually differ from your Indian exams, and how does it, will it be easy or will it be difficult, is that I personally feel that the exams are kind of difficult here, because we would be having exams totally on viva, totally on knowledge that we have on that subject. We would not be having like 5 marks or 10 marks, stuffs like that as in India, and there's no obvious important questions that we'll have to follow for the exams, because teachers here, they are totally, they want us to understand and just get into the subject and just know each and everything about the subject, because that is what is required for a medical student. And we don't need any important stuff, because if we omit the important questions, then what is going to happen? It's just going to be bad for our patients too. So it's just that we'll have to know the subject more. And also, all this depends on your interest, students, because teachers here, they would tell you, they would guide you to learn each and everything, but it all depends on you to take the responsibility and learn in a better way. So yes, so this is how it differs.
So next, about the curriculum. The curriculum of School of Medicine has 6 years, where the first 2 years is focused on pre-clinical subjects, and next the third year is focused on paraclinical subjects, and next 4, 5, 6 years are focused on the advanced clinical subjects and clinical rotations too. And yes, all the 6 years are taught in English, and our professors will speak English and understand English well. All the 19 subjects of MBBS curriculum are taught here. Along with this, we studied some subjects like Latin, Russian language, Russian history, biotechnology, medical informatics, philosophy, etc. Yes, it's compulsory to learn. And about cadavers, unfortunately, we are not having cadavers. Like, not only in FEFU, but also all our colleges across Russia. But in School of Medicine, there is an anatomical museum where you can see the dissected cadaver and you can learn from it. In my personal point of view, presence of cadaver, it doesn't matter. We can study via the models or else some dissection videos in YouTube.
And yes, for those of you who are interested about the class schedules, the thing is, here we would just have different timings of class. It doesn't mean that we'll have class right from our mornings till our evenings. It is not like that. Sometimes you can even have classes from 8:30 to 1:30, or you might even begin your classes only at 11:50 and then ended up till 6:30. Man, I've just had classes even till 10 o'clock in the night, because we would just be going through lectures all those timings, evening timings, so it will be pretty hard for us, but yeah, we can just go through and manage our stuffs. Each period actually lasts about 1.5 hours because for instance, if it's a main subject, then the teacher will require at least 2 to 3 periods, which means it is about 3 hours to 4.5 hours for a subject. Don't worry guys, you can even have a free time because the teacher would obviously give you all some time for us to rest and also have food in the cafeteria. In between each period, we just have 10 minutes of break. For instance, if you have an anatomy class from 8:30 to 10:10 and then you have from 10:10 to 11:50 you have another class, we just have 10 minutes in between, travel from one class to the other, so your timings will not be an issue. If our class schedules is just for 4:30 or our class gets over before that, you can have a great amount of time for having your workouts, for good amount of rest that the medical student deserves every day, and also you can cook good food for yourselves and also prepare yourselves for the next day's class.
And next, about the uniform, there is a strict code of uniform. All the student has to wear a white coat inside the School of Medicine all times. It is up to you whether you buy white coat from your home country or from here, and it is mandatory to carry a stethoscope with you.
Regarding the medical books, unfortunately people, there's no English books available here yet, so the main thing is that my friends prefer learning an e-book style, which is more comfortable for them, but personally I also recommend you all to have some books which actually requires you some visual learning. For instance, some subjects like anatomy, pathology or dermatology, that will require you to visually see things. But yes, you can also have the e-books, for instance, like for subjects physiology or PSM or any other subjects like that. You can also prefer your e-books, and don't worry that because economically and financially having e-books and online note taking is way more better, because even now I'm just trying to wrap myself to that, and yeah, it really works for me now and I'm really happy about that. If you're not really comfortable with e-learning, you can obviously choose physical books because they're also really good and really useful for many subjects. So it all depends upon your interest and your comfort, and choose the right one for you. Instead of getting all your medical books, all your physical books at a stretch in a single time, just be sure that you can even get your books per year. You can send them through the post from India, so that will not be an issue. You can also ask your teachers for all the materials that you require for each subject. Your teachers will obviously provide you with all the information that is necessary, but the thing is that everything would be from all Russian medical books, so the thing is that we'll have to get them translated, and sometimes you can even use the Russian atlases, which will have a lot more information. So just don't forget also to go through those types of books, so you can get some more and a different type of information that we might not have it in our Indian books.
Addressing the most awaiting question, that is medical practice. Like, there are certain rules and regulations which you need to follow. For example, all the students must undergo the medical checkup before starting the practice. Like, sometimes we also have some classes in the hospital because our professors are working doctors. If it wasn't the pandemic situation, all the students from the third year starts the medical practice in the hospital in the city. And due to the pandemic situation, 5th and 6th year compulsory has to do practice in the FIFO hospital. Okay, let's see how the patient exposure is like in the FIFO. Patient exposure, or in other words you can say patient interaction, like it can be 2 types, good or bad. Even though we are studying in English medium, it's compulsory to learn the Russian language, so that it's better to understand the patient complaints even more better. Your Russian class and your medical practice will help with this. Like, the first 2 years you will be considered in the basic Russian, and the next years will be considered in the advanced medical Russian, where you will be learn all the medical terms in Russian. Only if you learn these words properly, so you can talk to the patients and the doctors easily. Next, what about your hospital classes? Your professor will assign you a particular department, and all the students are divided into small groups, and every group has different types of patients. So next, what the students do with the patient, like every student will take the family history or patient history of the patient. So at last every student goes to the professor, and they will discuss in group, and they will confirm the diagnosis. So I advise you to learn the Russian language because it will improve your practice skills. And another advantage to learn the Russian language is to have a good social life, and you can communicate to the different doctors and you can learn their experience, and if you're lucky you can assist them.
Now moving on to the grading system, how the grades are being given for each subjects and each exams. The thing is that you would just be given grades out of 5, which means that you can score anywhere between 2, 3, 4 and 5. 2 actually means unsatisfactory, 3 means satisfactory, 4 is good and 5 is excellent, which means you're really good at the subject and they will give you that mark. The thing is that it is really necessary for you to maintain the attendance of every lecture, of every common lecture and every practical classes that is being taken during your semesters, because sometimes you might not even get your access for your exams, because in case if you have very less amount of attendance. So what happens if you fail a subject, if you get the mark, the grade 2 for your exams, what will happen then? The thing is that you will be given only 3 chances for your exams right from the beginning, that is when you're taking the exams in general. So after you fail the exams, you'll be having another 2 chances for you to pass the exam, which means that you'll have to clear you need to clear your exams before that. If you haven't cleared your exam even then obviously you will have to go out of the college, that is you will be expelled from the college, which is actually the thing that is done here in most of the Russian colleges. So you might also be expelled from the college because of other reasons, as in like just going through windows to the other dormitories, or smoking, or having alcohol in the dormitories, or you have many other reasons like that. So just be sure that you don't cross the rules and regulations which has to be followed in your dormitories, and also don't forget to learn properly, because your grades totally depend on that. Your grades also shows where you live, so just be sure that you just have good grades for getting a good dormitory. Another reason for you to be expelled from the college is that if you pay your fees late than the required date, then obviously you will be expelled, even though if you are a very good student and you've got highest grades in your academics. So that doesn't matter because you've not paid your tuition fees yet. Don't worry friends, you will be given the portions for your exams and your credits before a month, so it will be easier for us to prepare and be ready for the exams.
So that's the end of the academics video.
We hope that we've answered all your questions and doubts, and I hope that we've enlightened your mind with all the knowledge that is required for you to come and choose your college destination as FEFO.
So that's it. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Do feel free to drop your suggestions down in the comment box as to what you would like to see further. And yeah, we have always linked our Instagram handles down below, so you can always contact us again. That's it. If you watched till the end, thank you so much and have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.